We are live from sunny. We are live from San Diego.
Welcome on in, everybody, to the AZ Wildcats podcast, coming to you live from our hotel room in San Diego. I'm Damon Fairall. That's Kevin Thomas. We are the AZ Wildcats pod, and we are so excited to be giving you guys a pregame show for Arizona's Holiday Bowl matchup versus SMU. We've been hanging out in San Diego, taking in the sights and sounds, living it up a little bit, that SoCal life, Kevin. And now I think we're ready and we're geared up for a football game.
Man, life is incredible out here. The vibes are absolutely peak. They're chef's kiss, immaculate, right? You do have the fog behind us. It's not been exactly like as sunny as maybe we would have hoped out here for our trip to San Diego, but at least it has not yet rained all over us, knocking on wood as of right now. But the vibes have been incredible. We got producer Noah on this trip with us, enjoying the sights, the sea lions, the sounds of San Diego. Damon, I'm thankful to be here. Thankful to be talking about the Holiday Bowl and hopefully talking about a Holiday Bowl victory on our postgame show later tonight.
Yeah, no doubt about it. We hit the town a little bit last night, Kevin. Had some fun. Went out to Coronado Island today, got some breakfast. As you said, saw a sea lion. Showed my sweet, beautiful boys from the Midwest a sea lion. I mean, pure and utter shock.
Yeah.
But yeah, just absolutely cannot wait for this bowl game. And hopefully Arizona, takes this opportunity as a chance to, finally get to that, or not finally. I mean, I guess it only happened 2 seasons ago, but get to that double-digit win season yet again. For this time, the first time under Brent Brennan. And I think, it could really just be almost a momentous kind of a victory for this program, catapulting yourself into the 2026 season.
This is a huge opportunity. The opportunity to become just the fifth program, or not the fifth program, but the fifth team in program history to get to that double-digit, that sweet, sweet double-digit win marker, right? So not only that, you have Noah Fifita going for 2 bowl victories, and I think, as you and I discussed, like that is unheard of at Arizona to have 2 bowl victories from the same QB. It is incredible what Brent Brennan's group has been able to pull off this year, and tonight is their chance to really put the cherry on top of that. So yeah, I'm pumped.
Yeah, Arizona was the favorite going into this game for weeks, Kevin. It then flipped last minute to SMU as the favorite.
It's been flip-flopping.
And as I look right now on ESPN, at least on their FPI, they have SMU as a 52.5% chance to win. So looks like SMU maybe has taken a little bit of slight control of the line. Yeah, here we go. Oh, this says, yep, Arizona plus 1.5. So, yeah, interesting stuff there from a line perspective. I think we got 2 pretty evenly matched squads going up against it here. I mean, you look at SMU, they finish 8-4, right? It's not the greatest season in the world. They did so in the ACC, which we all know was, by far the 4th best conference of the 4 power conferences in college football. I mean, it was, if you listen to all the ESPN talking heads, it's SEC in a class of their own. Big Ten right next to them, I guess, with half of their conference being pathetic losers. And then it's the Big 12, a big step down from that, and the ACC, even further from that. And SMU, while, I think if I'm looking at the conference, Kevin, I might be looking at them as the second best team in that entire conference when I truly am breaking down their season. They tie for second place in the ACC standings. It's a 5-way tie for second place because that conference is a disaster. Virginia makes it automatically. And then I believe it was, Duke who ultimately ended up going to the ACC championship and winning and then beating ASU in their Sun Bowl matchup. But also it was Duke, Miami, SMU, I think Pitt, and one other squad were tied for with 2 losses in the ACC. SMU loses out on the tiebreaker, as does Miami. They don't make the ACC championship. And the way in which they lost that tiebreaker, Kevin, they were a shoo-in for the ACC championship. Correct. They had 1 game left in their season. They had to beat Cal, a Cal team that is okay.
They got the spirit of Fernando Mendoza, dude.
Yeah, and they do have a very, very good quarterback in Sagapulitele. I think I said that right. But like, no doubt that's a team that is respectable, but it's also a team the caliber of SMU needs to beat, especially when those kind of stakes are on the line.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. You talk about that Cal game. I mean, you have to, and it's unfortunate. Like, it's an unfortunate side effect of the current state of college football, but it's the truth, right? You have to understand that you have to take into account, right? Is SMU up to their fullest for this game? Are they getting up today ready to fight a war, right? I feel like Arizona is in a position where they want this 10th win real bad. As Brent Brennan would say, 9 ain't enough for me. I need 10, right? And I know Brent Brennan wants to wear that ugly holiday sweater that you get for winning the Holiday Bowl. And damn it, he's going to look damn swaggy in it. All you need, though, like I said, is Brent Brennan in the ugly sweater with the bowling shoes, and we're having a nice time. But
if you guys haven't seen it, there is in fact, a trophy ugly Christmas sweater that gets sent to the a winning coach of the bowl game, and we had since decided, me, Noah, and Kevin, that there is no trophy in sports that is meant more for Brent Brennan. Brent Brennan seems like the ultimate ugly Christmas sweater guy, does he not?
No, yeah, I feel like he loves an ugly Christmas sweater party. I feel like he would take great pride in wearing this sweater to his next ugly Christmas party next year.
Absolutely.
I'm all about this. But we talk about SMU and the way in which they lost that Cal game. Like, I usually am not are they going to be at their heart? Like, are they try their hardest in this game? I'm usually not that kind of guy because it's hard to get in someone's head like that.
Mm-hmm.
But you do have to imagine, with a chance at the ACC championship game on the line, a potential college football playoff berth on the line as well, because you must believe the ACC would have gotten the automatic bid over JMU in that scenario, right? So yeah. SMU had everything to play for against Cal and stunk it up.
Yes.
To a huge degree.
Mm-hmm.
So now you must wonder what SMU is showing up against Arizona in the Holiday Bowl, which for them must feel like a consolation prize. But for Arizona, this feels like the prize. This feels like the thing that you want to win this season. So it's going to be a really interesting battle of not only the two teams, but also the two tendencies and the two temperaments of each sideline.
Yeah, I think that is the interesting component of it, is that Arizona is like, and we're not really used to this. We're used to starting off hot and maybe, kind of eclipsing down as the season goes. In 2023 and now in 2025, we have peaked as the season weared on. And I think you look at SMU and like they were playing decent ball, but then their season ends on the lowest note possible, losing a game against a team that they're better than with, as you said, everything to play for.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, I hate to boil it down to one game, but that makes me think less of SMU as a team. That's my main thing, that like, I think SMU on paper looks like a hell of a good football team.
Yes.
Like they look like a great matchup for Arizona, but I lose respect for a squad when I'm looking at their schedule and I see what they have to play for, and they just, I don't know, lay an egg against a team that just, they have no business being in the game with. That definitely makes me think less of SMU in general. But as I said, like, they had a good season. They're a team that came off a playoff bid last season. They still have the same quarterback, same coach, and they largely have the same roster that's sticking together as well. Like, they don't have a whole lot of opt-outs here. And as Rhett Lashley said in one of the bowl pressers, like, if you're not a first or second round pick, you better be playing in this damn bowl game. And I respect that. I think Arizona is like a kind of on a similar path right now as a program. But yeah, I do just worry about that aspect of like, this isn't their biggest game of the season. And as you said, for Arizona, it absolutely is.
Yeah. I mean, this is probably the biggest game I don't want to say that, but it's one of the biggest games of Brent Brennan's career. Probably, right?
Yeah, I mean,
to be able to achieve this after what happened last year, to put the cherry on top.
Yeah, I would
look
say
after this year and be like, remember, we went 4-8. That was god awful. It was horrible. One of the worst professional years of his life, probably. To show the fortitude, to show the strength, the determination to overcome that, get to 10 wins, get a Holiday Bowl victory in front of all these Arizona fans. I mean, we're walking the streets last night. The amount of Arizona fans
incredible,
flooding the San Diego streets, unbelievable. And I'm not trying to say that SMU fans aren't out here, but they're kind of hiding, right? We've seen like maybe 10, right, the whole time, and that's being very generous. Arizona, you could look out here and probably see an Arizona fan from our hotel window. I mean, that is, the vibes out here are incredible. So it must feel like a massive game for Brent Brennan as well, to the point that we were just talking about there.
Yeah, it's interesting you bring up that aspect. Michael Lev talked about Snapdragon Stadium being flooded with Arizona fans. Kevin, is it true that the way to fix Arizona Stadium, and I guess Casino del Sol Stadium's attendance problem, is in fact relocating the team to San Diego?
I You brought up Lev's tweet to me earlier. I laughed pretty heartily because I thought it was hilarious. But honestly, there's a little bit of PTSD there. Like, let's not volunteer another Arizona team to just get kicked the hell out of the state because of low attendance.
The University of Arizona of San Diego.
Can we not, like, San Diego campus? Can we not do that? But yeah, no, that was hilarious by Lev. Good stuff over there. Speaking of the Arizona Daily Star, Justin Spears, we're going to see him at the game as well. We saw a couple of his buddies from high school last night. And yeah, that was very fun. So getting back into this
Shout
game
out those dudes
against SMU, we do have some matchup battles, Damon. But before we get to those, I wanted to bring up a couple little connections between Arizona and SMU. You have cornerback Kyron Chambers, who committed to Arizona initially in the class of 2022, but then hold that thought. He flipped to TCU at the last second, ends up at SMU now. That's a little bit of a cool nugget. I got that from Justin Spears of the Arizona Daily Star. And also, TJ Harden faced Arizona in 2023, the running back, one of the running backs for SMU. He was a member of UCLA when they came to town. He put up a pretty pedestrian 30 yards on 9 carries, but he has definitely improved. He's become one of the better backs for SMU this season. So excited to see those connections in this game as well. But let's get into these matchup battles, Damon.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's find out a little bit more about Arizona and SMU as a team here. And I actually think when you're fully like putting these matchup battles together, Kevin, it's extremely similar, especially on the offensive side of the ball. You have the quarterback situation with Noah Fifita versus Kevin Jennings, the two most experienced players on the roster, the two guys that, I think are the bread and butter of both programs, right? Like these two teams are nowhere near as good without their quarterbacks under center. Kevin Jennings threw for more picks than Noah Fifita did this year. He also threw for more yards. He is a bit less of a runner, Kevin, which I found to be pretty interesting. But yeah, he's, especially for not a big quarterback. But yeah, I think that these quarterbacks are about as even as you'll get in college football. Two of the 20 best signal callers in college football, probably. You look at the running game, extremely similar running games. They do not really have like that back that just kind of carries the squad, carries the load. They have a decent running game, but it is really not a special running game in any stretch of the imagination, Kevin. Their backup actually averages 3 yards more per carry than their starting running back.
Wow.
Their starting running back is a man by the name of TJ Harden, 747 yards on the season, very similar to Ishmael Mahdi's stats. Their backup, 463 yards on the season, pretty similar to Kedrick Reesono's stats.
Yeah.
So they have a really extremely similar running game in my perspective. Passing game is almost similar as well. I keep saying it, but I think that these quarterbacks, they don't really have that number one guy per se. So they spread the wealth around. Lots of dudes with similar statistics. And so I think they have a better tight end situation than Arizona does. Chris Hudson, especially the way he's played later in the season, gives me a little bit more confidence in our wide receiver unit over them. But yeah, I think that these offenses, even the offensive line as well, like similar in sacks given up, these two offenses are extremely similar across the board. You look on the defensive side of the ball and it's almost the opposite. The SMU is an elite run stopping defense. Top 10 in the country. Arizona, conversely, is an elite pass coverage. Defensive backs, we all know, up there with the best of them in the country. I think that they're both solid defenses, but they both do it in different ways, if that makes sense. And I do want to say, though, I do feel like SMU's run defense is also helped by the fact that their pass defense is so bad.
Yeah.
Because Arizona's run defense is not, quote unquote, so bad. It's not as good as the pass defense, but it's still very, very good. You look at the SMU pass defense, it is second worst in the ACC, I believe, Kevin. It's one of the worst in the entire country. And when you look at who they have gone up against on their schedule this season, whenever they play the better quarterbacks on their schedule, they tend to give up a ton of passing yards and a lot of points. So I definitely think that that's the way in which Arizona is going to need to take advantage of them. Special teams, they have a better place kicker, very similar punting situations. And then coaching, I'm going even across the board.
One thing I really wanted to key in on that you mentioned there, Damon, is the passing defense of Arizona, right? One thing that SMU is going to have to do if they're going to win this game is pass the football successfully, in my opinion, right? And I think that's going to be extremely hard for them to actually accomplish, considering opponents this year to Arizona have only been throwing the ball less and less and less as the season goes on, right? I don't know if that is a exact direct, you look at the attempts, but if you look at the relative rate of passing attempts against Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
Opponents are throwing at the 10th lowest relative rate against Arizona, and that number has steeply declined the whole season going along. So I think it's going to be extremely challenging for Kevin Jennings and this SMU offense to get going against Arizona. And on the other hand, like we talked about there, Arizona's offense, I believe, has almost become a little bit underrated in a lot of ways. Like, I think people look at it and go, Noah Fifita, end of story. But it's a lot more than that, right? They've been improving week over week. We talked about the offensive line in these first, 4 weeks of the season. We got on these post-game shows and we're talking about, man, we can't have all these penalties costing us from the offensive line. Is this something that they're going to be able to fix? It seems fixable. And a couple weeks later, we stopped complaining about it. And I feel like that is kind of encapsulatory. Is that a word?
No, I don't think.
Made it up right now. It's encapsulatory of the whole year's offense, right? It encapsulates it all. Everybody has taken last year, improved upon it over the course of this year. And now you have a team that is in the Holiday Bowl and they're playing, well, they haven't played it yet, but up to this point, they're playing their best football all season right now.
Yeah, I think the one thing on the O-line perspective is they still give up a little bit too many sacks, but they have cleaned up some of the penalties and especially the like crucial red zone penalties that were killing this team earlier in the season. But yeah, I do think that, this is a very, very evenly matched game from a on paper standpoint when you're really dissecting both rosters.
Yeah, it's extremely closely matched, Damon. And as we continue here in our pregame show to the keys to the game, how is Arizona going to get it done? You have to win the turnover battle. These are a little bit football 101. I almost said basketball 101. Looking forward to Utah tomorrow. But win the turnover battle, right? Noah Fifita got to take care of the ball. Running backs, pass catchers got to take care of the ball because key number 2 is force Jennings into bad reads. I think this is something that Arizona's defense is going to be able to be successful at. Guys like Riley Wilson coming up the middle, coming off the edge, figuring ways to get Jennings off kilter, figuring ways to get Jennings uncomfortable so he makes mistakes, turns the ball over to one of the best drop back defenses in the country. That is a defense that you can really have bad throws against, and they're not going to make you pay for it. Key number 3, let's have fun, guys. Play Arizona football. I know that's a little live, laugh, love right now, but like I said, at the end of our matchup battles, this is a team playing the best football right now of their season today, right? This is not a CFP team that took a month and a half off before their game and they're all rusty. No, this is an Arizona team that has been geared up. They've been ready, and I expect them to play Arizona football, free, loose, red line, and get the job done today. We're going to get to that in our score predictions in just a bit. But yeah, those are my 3 keys to the game. I feel like as long as Arizona, and that's why key number 3 was so live, laugh, love. But I think it's as long as Arizona plays their brand of football, it's going to be incredibly hard for SMU to come to San Diego off of the heels of nearly tasting a CFP berth for the 2nd straight year and get the job done. So those are my 3 keys for Arizona getting it done against the Mustangs in this one.
Yeah, I think that turnover margin battle in particular, Kevin, that's one thing that Arizona's done so well all season long is they don't lose that turnover battle.
Yeah.
They don't really fumble the ball all that much. Noah Fifita has done a phenomenal job, keeping the ball out of the opponent's hands. And yeah, it's been pretty much I would say the main driving force between this, why this season has been so successful is the defense is forcing turnovers left and right, interceptions all over the place. And the offense is really taking care of the football. If that continues, it's going to be hard for Arizona to be beat. And honestly, SMU does have a little bit more of a tendency to turn the football over than Arizona does. Kevin Jennings has 10 picks on the year. You look through his game log, you look at the games that SMU's lost, whether it's Baylor, whether it's TCU, whether it's Wake Forest. I mean, they are largely, turning the ball over in those games, not always losing the turnover battle, but they are in fact turning the ball over in those games. And I just think that, it's that's where Arizona has to take advantage of, force an interception, take care of the football. But Kevin, when you look at this SMU schedule and you look at the opponents that they've played, especially the Baylors and the TCUs of the world, does that give you any more confidence in Arizona in this one? The fact that they were able or those 2 teams that are clearly inferior Big 12 teams were able to beat SMU, and granted in very close games, but they were able to handle business.
It does make me feel a little bit more confident in this one. I wouldn't say it gives me a full chest of confidence, but it because the games are so long ago at this point, right? But I do think that if you're doing the MMA math, if you're doing the direct correlation, right, like it does give you confidence that if you think Arizona is better than the teams that beat SMU.
Yeah.
You should feel pretty damn confident that Arizona can get the job done. Like I said, if they just play Arizona football and show up with some red line to Snapdragon Stadium. Speaking of red line, producer Noah, could you toss me our red line t-shirt? I believe it's on right there in front of the TV. If you are at this game, if you're going to the game, if you are in San Diego, if you are wearing one of our red line t-shirts, one of these turnover tees, me and Damon will get you a drink. Me and Damon will give you a big old fat hug, show our appreciation for you, showing appreciation to us. So thank you for anyone who has got this red line t-shirt and has worn it to San Diego. I've seen people on Twitter. I think Lori Burkhart. Yeah, Lori Burkhart.
Kobe.
Multiple people have brought their red line tees.
My parents.
Saw your parents. So yes, thank you for all the support and love on that. Check our Twitter, check our links in the description below for where to find the shirt. But
don't check those bot links though.
I've been trying to combat the bot links there, Damon. I threw out a link. Our shirt is so fire that AI wants to steal it. AI is like, no, we couldn't replicate it. I guess we got to steal it.
I get it.
Anyway, but yeah, make sure to cop the red line turnover sword t-shirt. Show us your pride wearing it. If you're wearing it at home, right? I don't know if White Burrito and Taquito are going to be at the game or if they're watching from home, but let us know if you're repping from your living room or wherever you're from. So yeah, I'm ready to get to the stadium, Damon, because we are obviously pre-recording this show. We got to be at the game and then we got to come back for the post game. So let's get into our score predictions and let's get into Snapdragon Stadium and let's get a Holiday Bowl victory, shall we?
Yeah, let's do it. Getting into our score predictions here, Kevin, I'll let you lead things off.
All right, so I got a little bit of a tangent to go on. Last night, Damon, we were hanging out in the hotel room, and what did I say to you? I said, 26-24 Arizona is stuck in my craw. It's just stuck in my side, and I can't get rid of it. And then I woke up this morning, and I was like, ain't no way they're putting up 24 points on the Cats. And Danny G's defense, are you serious? And then I was like, well, we got Noah Fifita on the other side. I bet he gets 30+. Give me 31-14. Arizona gets a convincing Holiday Bowl win. 10 wins for just the 5th time in program history. Noah Fifita, 2 bowl wins. I'm loving it out here in San Diego. 31-14.
I love it, Kevin. I'm going to go a little bit more conservative, 31-23. I do think SMU's offense is good enough to put some points here on the board, but ultimately I think that the main differentiator here, and even, you wouldn't really necessarily get this by looking at our matchup battles because the arrows aren't contextualized, but I do think that the biggest discrepancy between both teams is the pass coverage. Arizona is up there with the best in the country, Ohio State, Miami, the really truly elite defenses in college football, whereas an SMU, that is their Achilles heel, is their pass coverage ability. So that's where I think Arizona takes advantage. I think Noah Fifita has a great game today. And I think that if Arizona is in fact going to get the W, that it is going to be because Noah Fifita throws for 300 yards, 1-0 turnovers, 3+ touchdowns. Like I do think that he's going to have a phenomenal game. And conversely, I think this defense is just a little bit too good for an experienced QB like Kevin Jennings to come in and light them up.
I agree with you. I agree with you. We both had 31. That should tell you that it's going to happen. And so, yeah, Damon. I also, for our gamble there, wanted to shout out a little bit of a stat that I found in prep for this game. Did you know, Damon, that Arizona's last 4 games have cashed the under by an average of 9.1 points?
Wow. 9 points?
9.1 points.
That's because they're holding opponents to such a little amount that they're doing all the heavy lifting on the points side of things.
So if you're betting this game, I'm not giving out any financial advice, but based on the trends, I would say Arizona money line in the under 52.5 sounds pretty good. Now, based on our score predictions, maybe actually no, mine would hit. Yours would not hit, I don't think. But yeah, so do with that what you will. A little fun fact on the gambling side of things if you're looking at the score of this game. Do we got anything else before we get on out of here?
I believe you wanted to throw shots fired our way. Obviously, we don't have a Three Amigos tequila shot on us right now. Unfortunately, we didn't plan that one through.
I tried to smuggle a whole crate of Three Amigos onto the plane, and the stewardess was like, "Sir, you can't do that." And I was like, "Do you understand that we toast, tailgate, and celebrate harder with our friends at Three Amigos? You want us to go out to San Diego without Three Amigos? That's unbelievable."
I guess in the security line, you're not allowed to bring a 40-ounce bottle of Ramona's Reserve through.
And then I said, "Well, I'll drink it. I'll get rid of it." And they were like, "No, sir, you cannot do that. The flight will be miserable for you and everybody else." And I was like, fine. So I sent Noah. He left the airport. He brought it back to the office and then got back to the airport. We were there very early. So yeah, shout out to Three Amigos. Thank you for sponsoring this but this segment of Shots Fired. And do you want to go first or do you want me to go first?
I didn't really have anything.
Oh, honestly. I got something.
I'll cook up.
These Arizona Wildcats are about to beat the SMU Mustangs so damn bad that they're going to beg. They're going to plead. They're going to get on their knees and cry to the NCAA. Why? Because they want another death penalty.
Reestablish it.
Put them out of their misery, Noah Fifita. They're an old horse that has broken their leg. They're a Mustang that can no longer run. Take them out back, turn them into glue. That's what we're doing. Death penalty tonight.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, that's about as strong as of a take as it gets here on this podcast.
That's my strongest shots fired in a while.
Yeah, disband the program.
That went down tough.
Disband the damn program. Cheers to that, brother.
Cheers. Solid.
But yeah, I mean, listen, I guess I'll just go at them having money. You know what I mean? It's not even like they'll sit there and, it's not even really a diss, but screw you guys and your big deep pockets and your cool Highland Park freaking vibe and, your Dallas comb over and your freaking SMU polo and your khakis, losers. We're about to show you what style looks like at Snapdragon Stadium today with 80% Arizona fans in attendance, wearing hoodies, wearing sweatpants,
wearing red line t-shirts.
That's style.
The only time I want you not to be wearing this red line shirt is if you're in the shirtless section tonight.
Fair.
The only time you're allowed is if it's waving above your head. That's the only time you cannot be wearing this shirt today.
Fair enough.
I love that shots fired.
I mean, listen, dude, you the prep boys, like, we're about to show them what a real style looks like tonight, Kevin.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my very strong shots fired in accordance with yours, because I'm pretty sure those hold pretty equal weight there. But
for the record, I don't want any SMU players actually killed. All right, I want the program in the casket.
That needed clarification.
I just thought maybe someone might watch that and be like, this podcaster, did he just call for the deaths of 52 young men? What is wrong with this guy?
100. Try 100.
Well, yeah, true. You're right. It's even worse. I dig myself a hole every day. But yeah, death penalty, SMU tonight.
Yes, absolutely. That's going to do it for our pregame show. We will, of course, be live for postgame coverage about 10 to 15 after the game is over. Maybe a little bit longer than that, Kevin, depending on what the postgame availability looks like.
Why, Damon? Because we're going to be live from Snapdragon Stadium.
Absolutely. We're going to be up there in the press box doing a postgame show live on site, boots on the ground, Kevin, from the scene. Can't wait for it. Like I said, try about 15 minutes after the postgame, probably we'll be ready to go. Turn those notifications on, subscribe to this channel, and please like this video. Follow me at Damon Dog. Follow him at Kevo Post. Thank you so much to Noah Woolbrook for producing this pod, and we will be back on a post-game show edition of the AZ Wildcats pod. Until then, hopefully we're talking about an Arizona Wildcats W, Kevin. But until then, appreciate everybody for watching this show. For Damon, for Kevin, for Noah, for the AZ Wildcats pod. Peace out. Bear down.
And go Cats. Stay classy, San Diego.
We all silly like the mayor.